Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. Remember when we put this Vego bed and trellis together? Well, now it's time to fill the bed. I have partially started filling the bed. So after I sunk it in here, I put some of the soil back in there. We also put twigs, sticks, branches, whatever in this bed. Oh, and leaves, because I like to do the hugelkultur type of method to fill in my beds to save money on soil costs. So I think it's ready to go ahead and fill up with soil. And I bought this soil from Lowe's. This is the Stay Green vegetable flower soil. I've never used it before, but it was on sale for buy three, get three free, which makes the bags $2.40 or 46 cents a bag. So if you guys need some soil, you need some cheap bags, check out Lowe's. They have that deal going on. And they also have their mulch 5 for $10 right now. So definitely check them out there. All right, so let's go ahead and get this bed filled. Then we'll plant some sugar snap peas. And then we'll also do some fertilizing of this berry bed here because the berries are up and they need something to eat. So I have to be very careful because it is wet and slippery outside. So if you see me fall down in this video, just ignore it. Just ignore me and I'll get right back up, I promise, and start working. But these bags are 1 cubic foot, in case anyone was wondering how big they are. Let's go ahead and open this. Doesn't look too bad. It looks kind of like a little mulchy, but not horrible. I've opened bags of soil that were just trying to save money, bought the cheapest bags, and they literally were like clay soil. Lots of rocks in it and lots of bark. It was just bad. And I have one bed. It is a raised bed over there in the corner that still has that soil in there. So yeah, I need to do something about that because it is terrible soil. Oh, this looks good. This looks super good. All right, let's do this one on this side. Oof. So I want to fill this bed all the way up to the brim because the soil level is going to drop so low throughout the season, and by time next spring it's probably going to be like this, drop this much, just because when you do the hugelkultur method and you're using sticks and twigs and leaves and things like that, that stuff breaks down. That's the whole point of it, is to like compost in bed. And so by time next year it's going to drop so much and I'm going to have to add so much more soil back to this bed. So I want to fill it up as high as I possibly can. That makes sense. And then next year, hopefully we won't have to put in as much new soil. So we do want to leave a lip around, but we want this soil to be super high up. I see some twigs there. Nice. Okay, so I think another bag on this side, definitely. Oh, that looks great. All right, that looks awesome. Perfect. So now that we've got our soil laid out in here, I'm going to use some of this plant tone all-purpose feed just to add an extra bit of nutrients to it. The soil does come with a fertilizer in it, but I'm going to add just a little bit more of this because I really like the plant tone fertilizer. Just going to spread it like this. All right, that's good. And then we'll just work this into the soil. All right, that looks really good. So let's get our sweet pea seeds and start planting. So we've got two types of peas that we're going to plant. One is going to be the melting sugar, and the second is going to be the sugar magnolia snap peas. These have a purple pod, which I think is going to be so pretty climbing up here. We're going to do one variety on one side and another variety on the other side. I'm going to do the melting sugar on this side and the sugar magnolia on the other. So let's get this open. Just going to use my finger to make hole, cover next. And I'm planting them very close together. I want them to be kind of like a little hedge. And then, of course, not all will germinate. So the peas are planted. They should be up probably in the next week or two. We'll start seeing growth from them. And I'm looking so forward to it because we've got them planted like every inch, every half inch. So they're just going to fill up this trellis, and I'm looking so forward to that. So now that we've got that finished, let's start fertilizing our berries. We've got berries here, we've got berries there, and then I also have a little berry bush up there that we are going to dig up and move over here. So right here we have the tiniest little berry bush that I got from Hertz Gardens, I believe last year. And I just popped it in right there, but I want to move it so it can be with its cousins. All right. Still has the shape of the pot, so it didn't really do much growing planted in here. So hopefully moving it to a new spot, it'll have the chance to put on some growth. So I think over here will be a really great spot for it. I'm going to stick it right there, right here. And I will zhuzh this up a little bit, just rough it up very gently. And then pop it right in there. All right, so now we're going to use some of the Berry Tone by Espoma, and I got this locally, and hopefully this will be all that these plants need. So let's go ahead and put this around the base of these plants. Now we're going to zhuzh up the soil a bit so this can get worked in. There we are. Just a little bit. This bed has strawberries and raspberries, strawberry, blueberries. So we've got the fertilizer worked into the soil. Sorry, somebody just laid an egg, so the chorus is going. Okay, so we added the fertilizer, worked it into the soil. Now we need to go to our bed over there, which has raspberries and strawberries. This one has blueberries and strawberries. So this bed, I actually think I'm not going to fertilize it at the moment because I need to raise the soil line. This bed was filled the hugelkultur method and see how far the soil has dropped. So I think I might just hang off on fertilizing this, dig these up, and add in soil, then replant everything back into this bed. I think that's probably the best thing to do instead of just adding fertilizer and then digging the bed up and then filling it again and replanting and then adding more fertilizer. I think a better use would be to just dig these up and replant them. So I decided while I was at it, I might as well just go ahead and fully sow this bed with seeds. And I thought carrots would be nice and probably like a lettuce would be really nice in this bed. So I picked out Lila Lusang carrot, a Danvers carrot. And then I picked out the Brentwood lettuce. And then I also have a early wonder beet. If I have space, I'm going to stick this in there too. So let's start with the Lila Lusang. Now these are purple on the outside. And then I thought would be really cool because we have the purple sweet pea on this side, would be nice to grow. And then we can do the Danvers on the other side with the green potted sweet pea. And then we'll do lettuce close around the outside. So we'll do sweet pea, carrot, and then lettuce. And then if there's room, maybe we'll do a couple beets in there. So I'm going to start with the Lila Lusang. And with carrots, it's kind of hard to, their seeds are so small, you end up sowing way more than you need. So let me see what I have left in here because I have already sowed these before. Oh yeah, there's plenty of seeds. So I'm going to go a row out. So like in the middle here, and sow the carrots, and then I'm going to sow the lettuce close to the outer side. So let's do that right now. So for the carrots, I'm just going to take my glove and just do like this. They don't have to be planted too deeply, just 1/8 of an inch. I don't usually measure anything like that. So I just do like this, not too deep. Go from end to end. And then we're going to go ahead and spread our seed. And you'll eventually want to come and thin your carrots out. But until then, it's okay to overseed them. That's generally what happens with carrots anyhow. They get overseeded all the time. So I'm going to do my best to not overseed, but we'll see. Carrots do really well in cool temperatures, which is why I believe it's a great time to sow them. All right, let's put these back in the package. So sowing early spring and early fall or late summer is a great time to sow carrots. All right. Next, we are going to sow our lettuce on this side. Let me cover these carrots back up real quick. And I just go and I just pinch the soil like this, just to go ahead and cover them up. Just like that. There. And then our Brentwood lettuce. Okay. Got that open, and I'm going to go ahead, use my hand, and dig a little trench for the lettuce. That looks perfect. Let's get that lettuce seed in out. Perfect. I'm going to take my gloves off. These are a little bit too bulky. Seed. And these are a lot bigger, so we can kind of disperse the seed exactly how we want it. Come on, lettuce. Looks like we're going to be using up all the lettuce seed. Got a couple of cracked pieces. I doubt those will germinate. All right. So let's go ahead and pinch this close. Perfect. And then we'll start on the other side. So right here in the middle, we're doing the Danvers carrot. So we're just gonna make our little trench, not too deep. Take it all the way to the end. And then take my glove off. And it's nice because these are a coated seed, so you can really see how many you're putting in. That's super nice. Yeah. See if there's something back there. Okay, that looks great. We're just gonna put our extra seeds back in our envelope and then put them back in the pouch. And because we ran out of lettuce seeds on this side, we have a great place to put our beets. So that's really exciting. Now let's go ahead, get our glove and close up the soil. Just that pinch. Don't want a big chunk on there. Okay, we'll tamp that down a bit. I'll do the other side too. There. And then now we want to make our trench for the beets. Let's see how deeply the beets like to be planted. 1/2 inch. So we'll go a little bit deeper with this trench. Just a little bit. All right. And these are the early wonders. And it's a 48-day crop, which is nice. That's a quick turnaround. All right, set those there. And you want to try to space these out a bit too, or you're going to be thinning heavily because you want to give your beets room to actually grow that bulb. And you want them to have space to expand. Now, some people like their beets to be clumped up, and you don't get the huge bulb, but you get a lot of like really nice size smaller bulbs, which if that's what you like, do what works for you. I happen to enjoy pulling up that big ginormous beet. I think it's just it's a size thing. It's not, I don't think the flavor changes it in any way, but it's just like that, wow, I grew this big giant vegetable. It's just kind of like a feeling of accomplishment when you grow something super huge. All right, so we've got those seeds down in the trench. Put them right here. And then we'll go ahead and pinch it closed. Pinch, pinch, pinch. And we're expecting rain today, which is why I haven't watered anything in. I'm not going to. I'll give it a chance. We have rain expected today and tomorrow. So I'm going to let nature do its thing. But if it doesn't rain, then I'll come out here with the hose and go ahead and give it a deep watering. But the most important thing right now would be to protect this bed from birds and squirrels. I have a hard time with squirrels digging in my raised garden beds. They dig out my stuff and they plant their own things. So I'll have to see what I have around that I can use to kind of block off this area. And they love a clean surface like this. So this would be like a field day for them. So I've been using this hay for my chicken nest boxes, but I think it would be great in this raised bed with the strawberries and the blueberry bushes. This is a non-seeded straw, not hay, straw. So it's supposed to be clean. I've used it in this bed here and had no trouble with weeds. So I think it'll just give it a nice clean look and potentially deter some digging, but probably not. How cute does that look? And I will be planting a lot more strawberries in here. I've started a ton of strawberries from seed. And then we also started some strawberry roots together. So we've got a lot that is going to fit into this bed. And then also the bed back there. So I found this little piece of metal fencing that I'm going to use to see if I can keep the squirrels and birds out. Maybe, maybe not. Found the second piece. Let's see if this can fit on there. Maybe we do it a different way. Great. So I got those on there. Once the plants start to germinate, I'll probably take it off just because I don't want them growing through that. But for now, it could keep the squirrels and the birds out. We'll see. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know if you have any questions about any of the plants I planted, the soil, the fertilizers, anything that I use in this video. Let me know if you have any questions, or if you have any questions about gardening, leave them down below and I'll be happy to help you. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next video. Bye.